Talk to me about what you saw Saturday.
I saw a lot of troubling signs, Stephen A. And what I saw the most are a bad trajectory for Alabama. They're going the wrong direction. I mentioned it earlier about the penalties. This is an undisciplined team, Stephen A. And if I could say this to you without you going apoplectic, this is not a well-coached team. I know who the coach is. He's Nick Saban, but this is the third time this year he's been outmaneuvered, now coached by the other guy. Alabama could easily have lost 3 games. It took a last-second field goal against Texas. It took a stop against A&M, and we saw what happened Saturday. And this is the wrong way. And this team is missing on all cylinders. The offensive line is weak. The defensive secondary, where Nick Saban coaches, Stephen A., got burned repeatedly in that game. You saw that. And I don't know where it's going. It's not over. They still have a path. They still have Nick Saban. But you tell me, how does he come out of this right now?
Well, I will tell you this. It wasn't Bryce Young quarterbacking against Texas A&M, so I can explain that one away. I cannot explain the nail biter at Texas other than to give Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns some credit. And then this past weekend, that was a show that Hooker and Hyatt put on. This kid, Jalen Hyatt, 6 receptions, 207 receiving yards. He shredded Alabama's defense to the point where I don't know if we're allowed to even ask or even act like Alabama has a defense right now. When you get blitzed like that, that is not something I cannot sit here on national television and rave about Alabama's defense. But talk to me about Tennessee. Let's give them some love in this regard. Your alma mater. Do they have a chance? Yeah. Is it a foregone conclusion they're going to lose to Georgia? Or do they really have a chance to run the table?
They have a chance. They really do, because I think Josh Heupel today is the most innovative and creative offensive mind in college football. You saw that Saturday, Stephen A. You tell me. I thought I was watching Mahomes and Allen last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
18 seconds in college. That's unheard of what they manufactured. Now, again, I think Nick Saban handed them a gift on a platter with his mismanagement of the clock, and that's beside the point. They missed the field goal, but that was brilliant. That was unlike anything I've seen in college football in a generation. So it starts with Josh Heupel. Hooker is brilliant. Right now, he's the leader in the Heisman, but they have to get past Georgia, and they have to win the SEC championship game if they get that far. But they're capable of it. They're not overly talented. Georgia and Alabama devour them with 5-star players, but he's making the most out of what he has.
So if he's made the most out of what he's had against Alabama, isn't it fair to assume that Georgia's the only one standing in their way? I expect them to beat Mississippi State. Unless you just got all hyped up and played out of your mind for Alabama and forgot about the rest of the competition. I'm looking at their schedule. Mississippi State, LSU, don't get me started with what's going on there. Now, I know we got to be patient with Brian Kelly. I heard you loud and clear, and I'm going to do that. But Mississippi State, LSU, I'm just wondering, man.
I think Alabama has one game that to me looks very troubling, Stephen A., and that's later in the year at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin is undefeated. He's done a phenomenal job this year, and he went into the portal and cleaned up. As far as Tennessee, the Georgia game is in Athens, and that's a big deal in the SEC. When in college football, playing on the road really matters, as we saw Saturday at Neyland Stadium. So it's tricky for Alabama. I think Alabama can get through, but Nick Saban has got to go into his bag of tricks, because the way this season is going is concerning, and I think everybody who's a fan of Nick Saban, and that includes us, have a right to be worried.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.